The Board of Education makes available at least one current copy of the Open Meetings Act, which is posted on the west wall of the meeting room and accessible to members of the public. Will you please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will start with the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education District 15 approve the consent agenda as presented, including approval of minutes of the regular Board of Education meeting on March 13th, 2023, approval of the proposed accounts for payment, approval of budgetary receipts and expenditures for March 2023, approval of the Committee of the Whole minutes for March 23, 2023, and approval of option students, and approval of option students from other schools. Approval of resignations of Ashley McConnell, 3rd grade, Carson Eberling, 3rd grade, Catherine Katz, elementary media specialist, Morgan Schultz, high school family consumer science, Emily Brummond, high school English, Brenda Gronewald, high school business, Wes Garland, high school science, Ed Ankrum, high school math, Kristen Bonahan, speech language pathologist, and excuse the absence of Eric Book.
Okay, thank you, George. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Brandon. Jason, do you have a treasury report?
I do. So bills for the month of March were $535,647.64. Payroll for the month of March was $1,706,692.64. That doesn't happen very often. Total expenses for the month were $2,242,340.28. Total revenue was $1,574,182.09, which is pretty typical for the month of March. In terms of expenditures versus revenue, just a little bit of information for you. We've expended 56.79% of the anticipated budget, and while collecting 57.83%. So our revenue is 4,800 higher as we work through April, which is generally the leanest revenue month for BPS. So as we work through this coming month, we'll probably see less revenue than the month of March. But it all just depends on how taxes get paid and how those flow in. So in terms of where we should be, we're right on track.
Okay, thanks, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, comments? All right, for our votes, Danielle will do a roll call vote.
Janet Byers,
Yes.
Doris Martin,
Yes.
Lisa Pieper,
Yes.
Charles Riedesel,
Yes.
Eric Trusty,
Yes.
Brandon Petrosky.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Next up, outstanding recognition, employee of the month.
Okay, for the employee of the month, I am actually going to turn it over to Mrs. Cordry Hoekstra and invite her up front and center.
Is this the front?
That is the front, yes.
Maria Louisa, Dr. Noble, is our employee of the month. She has been a champion for students with disabilities for as long as I have known her, which goes way back to August of '99. It's a little ways. She is our district go-to for needs related to the autism spectrum disorder. Maria Louisa is kind, compassionate, and a thoughtful educator who always puts the needs of students first, even when it isn't the easy option. Dr. Noble's responsibilities stretch her very thin, but she is always the first to offer assistance to others. Her commitment to helping students attain success is just one of many reasons she is such an asset to Beatrice Public Schools. Dr. Noble has been a member of the Southeast Region Advisory Team for many years. She has served as a BPS ASD resource for the last 24 years. Maria Louisa attends trainings and conferences regularly to improve her skills and knowledge related to ASD. She also provides BPS staff training and support regularly throughout the year. Dr. Noble has the brightest outlook for each student as she assists teams in planning appropriate services. She is the first to evaluate herself and the programming to determine what can be altered to provide students with the best opportunities to succeed. She truly sees that all students can be successful, and she is not afraid to address difficult situations in the best interest of the student. Dr. Noble leads by example. She is willing to dedicate her time and energy for the good of the cause. Louisa was the driving force in training our staff in the skills-based treatment programming. She knew if we could provide appropriate and consistent programming, our students would be more successful in the school setting. Maria Louisa is an inspiration to our students, families, and staff. She works tirelessly for our district and never desires accolades, because she truly is focused on student outcomes.
I'll see you guys.
Yes.
And she thought she was here to give a presentation.
Traveling.
Can I get a picture? Dr. Noble, can I get a picture of you? Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
All right, next up, business friend of the month, Mr. Alexander.
Okay, so Gleason family, if we can have you come up, we'll go to this end of the room,
Okay.
since they went to that end of the room, so if you can come up here. We're gonna do this one together.
Yes. So if you want to stand in the middle, you just have to watch out for the bright light, or stand over here, it doesn't, that works too. Okay, it is with great pleasure that we recognize and extend a sincere and heartfelt thank you and a note of acknowledgement to our business friends of the month, Gleason Dental.
There are so many committed and dedicated business partnerships that exist with our school district and our community. We feel very fortunate about all of them. And Gleason Dental Clinic stands out regularly on this list. There's a lot of people that help support our students in many ways, but Gleason's always seem to be there when the need is ready. Most recently, as an example, when our girls were playing in the district championship basketball game, the Gleason Dental Clinic purchased tickets for the first 100 students who came to the game to cheer on the girls.
That is a terrific example of the generous spirit of the Gleason family that they have shown towards Beatrice Public Schools and the students for many years. For years, the dental clinic has sponsored hundreds, if not thousands, of t-shirts for various activities, made donations to camps, helped with big school items, including the House of Orange and the Hevlon construction.
Those are the things that a lot of people see, but what they don't see is also additionally the Gleasons have sponsored free dental inspections and exams for students in our preschools and elementary schools, and have even covered the cost of services for the various services needed for students that needed dental work done.
Also, they are behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, Mickey, we know, has been a longtime member of our Beatrice Educational Foundation. She recently stepped off, but she has done a lot of work with that foundation. And I know that Dave was supporting you all the way, making sure that you were getting to all those commitments. But she has helped with the capacity of the foundation by adding numerous dollars for scholarships, ensuring the Lady Mary's Fund was there, teacher grants, and so much more. And now we have Dan Gleason. He has been on the board for many years as well, but he is there to continue to carry on that tradition. So we expect the commitment level to rise and to other, I'm sure, right?
Big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill, yes.
But, and also, Dan is the official golf tournament organizer for the foundation as well, so.
With the help of
With Nate Claiborne, and many, so greatly appreciated. In short, it's truly a privilege to name the Gleason Dentistry Clinic and the Gleason family as the Beatrice Public Schools Business Friend of the Month. So if you would help us congratulate.
Can I say one thing?
Absolutely.
Okay, I moved here in the 5th grade, 1951. Came from a 2-room schoolhouse in Kansas, Heiser, Kansas, little bitty town. Grades 1 to 4 in one room and 5 to 8 in the other. But my wife and I and all 3 of our kids have graduated from Beatrice High School, and I always felt we got an excellent education here. We're all 5 graduates of the University of Nebraska also. So
We love
Beatrice is doing a great job.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Son Tim had an important other meeting, so he's not sloughing off tonight.
There's a lot of meetings to partake in. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
And you have to stay for the whole meeting.
She already stayed for
You guys will stay. You know what, whatever you wanna do.
Thank you very much.
All right, now moving on to the information portion of the meeting. Start with student update. Riley.
It's the longer one, so bear with me. At the preschool, it's been very busy. The week of April 3rd, the preschool celebrated the Week of the Young Child. On Music Monday, they had a concert in the park with the String Beans. Tuesday, they made healthy snacks for Tasty Tuesday. On Work Together Wednesday, they had a putt-putt golf course at the mall called Putting with a Purpose, with local organizations that help families. And a thank you to our community that helps and supports these many families. Artsy Thursday saw students paint the walls of the preschool, or rather, large pieces of paper that covered the walls. And lastly, Family Friday allowed students to spend time at home with their families due to Easter break. Preschool is loving the nice weather and working together with their friends. Paddock Lane, along with other elementary schools, competed in the first ever reading rally, where students answered questions from a long list of books. Out of 20 teams in each division, a team of 4th graders took 2nd place, and a team of 5th graders took 8th place. Tomorrow, author Maribeth Bolts will be visiting Paddock Lane and working with all of the classrooms, along with eating lunch with the reading rally participants. The 2nd graders are continuing their swimming lessons at the YMCA. Field trips are starting up. 1st graders will visit the hospital, and the 4th graders will go to the Omaha Zoo. Kindergarten Roundup will be held on Friday, May 5th. Parents of incoming kindergarten students have received information, and Paddock Lane looks forward to meeting all of their new students. At Lincoln and Stoddard, NSCAS testing is underway, and students and staff are finishing those. Cam Jurgens visited Stoddard and thanked them for the video they made for him and the Eagles around the time of the Super Bowl. Lincoln Elementary had some great Easter egg hunts and activities, and as the school year winds down, efforts are put forth to try and keep everyone focused. At the middle school, boys and girls track is currently underway. Both 7th grade and 8th grade won the Marysville meet last week and are competing in Columbus today. Students will compete NSCAS Language Arts this week and NSCAS Math next week. The middle school class competition is winding down. The Orange House is currently in the lead with 4 weeks to go. And at the high school, the student council has been supplying the staff with a bunch of treats and snacks in honor of Teacher Appreciation Month. The spring play, Robin Hood and His Merry Men, has its last showing tonight at 7 p.m. There's a showcase for the arts and music programs on April 28th in the Hepalone. National Honor Society and Key Club continue to organize and participate in volunteer opportunities. And lastly, spring sports are starting to reach the peak of their seasons. We're all kind of itching to get out of school. High school they're starting. So everybody is.
All right, thanks, Riley. Next up, board reports, committee of the whole. Mrs. Martin.
The Board of Education Committee of the Whole meeting was held on Thursday, March 23rd. One of the things on the agenda was girls wrestling, and Mr. Brown informed the board of the rapid growth in the sport of girls wrestling and the impact that growth is having on schools being able to host girls wrestling meets. With the growth of the meet hosted in Beatrice, he suggested some flexibility and to keep the girls' meet on a Friday. Then we had a strategic planning site update from the elementary and middle school. Mr. Jansen and Mrs. Rephogle highlighted safety, social emotional learning, staffing, and student learning as strategies they're focusing on. At the middle school, Mr. Hakey and Mr. Stengel talked about updating cameras from analog to digital, the redesigned computer applications curriculum, creating partnerships with local community aid and career development, and implementing a career day. And then they also, strategy 5 they focused on was structure regular PBIS committee meetings. Mr. Suter then spoke to the board about implementing an ag education program at the high school. And then, under negotiations, Mr. Alexander reminded the board that certified staff negotiations process has concluded and formal approval of the agreement will be tonight. That ends my report.
Okay, thank you, Doris. Next up, stance report, Mr. Alexander.
Okay, at your chair before you, when you came in, I put a stance report there for you, just in terms of the efficiency of time. Basically, at the legislature, many things came to a grinding halt as there was filibusters and much discussion around a few topics unrelated to education. But last Friday, the Education Committee met in executive session to discuss legislation under its jurisdiction. The committee advanced a series of bills, some with amendments to general file with the intent to eventually merge the bills under a committee priority package. So basically what happened is the Education Committee came together and said, these are the priorities that we want to see happen, and these are the bills that are going to be packaged together to try and get through. So there's two committee priority packages. One is under LB 385, and you can see the bills that are attached to that. Now, a lot of times we call that a Christmas tree bill, which means that the bill itself is 385, but the ornaments hanging off the side of the Christmas tree are all that list of bills that are underneath there. I'm not going to take the time to go through each one of those for you, but you can see what they all entail. The one that I would highlight is LB 520. Good news for us, did make it out of committee, and that is the one that pushes back the computer science requirements for another year. So we'll see how that all shakes itself out and how the amendments work. The other one, the other committee package was LB 705. Again, I won't take the time to dive into this wholeheartedly with you, but I will also tell you that there are some legal aspects of the LB 705 committee package that have to be worked out before it could make it to, probably make it through general file. So those are discussions that are in place. It's taken a long time, it seems like, to get to the education-related bills because of the other bills that are being discussed. But we're finally there, and this is the result of what that probably will be the final result of the Education Committee recommendations for general file for the year. So we'll track these and keep you updated as they progress.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Now is the time for public forums, citizens' request for comments, and today we have one request, Mr. Dave Barner.
Thank you. Well, now you can put a face to the name. So I am Dave Barnard, and I am so excited to be here and the opportunities that it presents. Someday I hope to have the FFA established in this community, and you can report on that, right?
Yeah.
I know that there are so many ag businesses ready to jump on board that maybe someday you'll recognize those people too. So I guess a little bit about myself. I taught ag education for 41 years. I go around and I introduce myself and I say, I'm the new ag teacher, and they look at me and they say, well, there's nothing really new about you. But I guess I bring some experience, and so why ag education now? And I say, well, why not? And where have we been? And I think you have people in leadership here. Superintendent Alexander comes from a program in Ord that was just outstanding, and he knows what it takes there. The senior high principal's on board, and we've had great discussions, and it's always been, I own land in this district, I'm a member of this district, I live here, and I think the timing's right. And it's not going to be easy. There'll be some challenges. One's to find an ag teacher. There's 210 ag programs in the state. There's very few in southeast Nebraska that don't have an ag program. A lot of the schools that Beatrice mentioned competes in have just outstanding programs, and a lot of those, Seward, Norris, York, have 2 ag instructors. Kearney's looking for a 3rd one. Some of the schools on the outside of like Hastings High doesn't have, but Adams Central's a very strong program, and Hastings St. Cecilia, even parochial schools now have ag programs. So, so what's my job? Well, number one is education to my day students, but I think it goes further that I need to educate faculty, administrators, community, And ag education is community-based. And as I go around and talk to people, I think there's just a tremendous support out there for this. Ag teachers are kind of hard to find right now. There's 16 openings right now. Teaching ag is kind of a different program. A lot of times you have a freshman and they go all the way through your program and you see them as a senior. You get to know their families, and you have another sibling and another sibling. So it's a little bit different than just having a student one time. I get a lot of questions about the FFA. Will we have an FFA in the fall? And the answer is really no. We have to re-charter, and the next convention is next April. But we can lay the groundwork for that. Some of the things that I need to work on is some stereotypes that we have. We haven't had a program since '79, and back then it was still Future Farmers of America. That went out in '88. So if you hear anybody say that, no, it's the National FFA Association. Young ladies were just getting into the program at that time, and now state leadership is predominantly female. 60% of the ag teachers in the state are young ladies. And I say young ladies because it's a growing profession in that way. A lot of what you are familiar with through your sports is in SAA. The FFA doesn't fall under that. A lot of our competitions are natural resources competitions, which is the NRD. The FFA is Nebraska Department of Education. A lot of our, like say, welding and ag communications and vet science, all those programs kind of work with the University of Nebraska. So we really don't have anything to do. A couple of years ago, the boys and girls had state basketball. They were under a different leadership than the FFA. We were under the Department of Education. We couldn't have a state convention. So there's some differences there that we need to educate through, and I'm open to any questions. I now have a computer and an email, so I invite your questions. And if you have civic organizations, I'm all in. I'm not sure I'm the greatest speaker, but I can talk a long time. And so if, I don't know what the protocol is, but if you have any quick questions, I'd be glad to answer those.
Just a little bit of behind the scenes, we've been talking about this for, and working on this plan for what seems like a year, and Mr. Barnard came in and met with Mr. Suter and myself and talked about the idea of starting ag education back up in Beatrice and then eventually getting ourselves back to an FFA chapter. And I can't think of a better program. I'm extremely excited about it. I think one misconception that a lot of people have is that ag ed is about learning about cows and beans and soil, and it is a lot of that, but it's also a leadership program. Ag education promotes leadership in the community. Through the FFA program, it promotes leadership in the area and the region, and it teaches kids to collaborate and work together. And so it's a great program. We're highly excited that Mr. Barnard agreed to help us get this started. We feel like we have a good, strong plan in place for the course of the year next year, and we have an ag teacher that we feel like is ready and willing to step in. So Mr. Barnard's going to get this started for us, and then we're going to roll right into January with a new person, and we're excited about that as well. So.
Elementary procedure is a big thing in FFA, so I appreciate what you're doing here. He talks about leadership. Two of your state senators in this area, Brandt and Dorn, production ag. And that's not always the case, but it has to be. Think of all the opportunities on co-op boards. There's a need for, in the demographics, so many of those people are at the age they're retiring, so we need some good young professionals. And he says we, corn and beans and things, but all that leads to commodities marketing and sales and service. And you can start at one end of town, go this way, north, south, east, it doesn't make any difference. There's all kinds of partnerships to be made. I mentioned this, I chair the Southeast Community College Ag Advisory Board, and I mentioned it to them. And they're excited because they think it's a good recruitment for our kids to move out there. Some of them don't understand that, so a lot of people on board. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
we don't always have the opportunity to introduce our new teachers until August, and so this worked out well that Mr. Barnard was willing and able to come, so, thank you for showing up and being here.
You bet.
All right, thank you. Next up, action portion of the meeting. First up, approval of the 2023-24 negotiated agreement with the Beatrice Education Association. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the 2023-24 negotiated agreement with the Beatrice Education Association.
Thank you, Doris. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Janet. And Janet, would you like to?
Do you know, I spoke to it last month and I really don't have anything to add to it.
I think the package is one that keeps us in the midpoint of the array, and it's a good package. We feel like we have good, hardworking staff, and so the $750 increase on the base salary and to change the $1,200 deductible insurance is what we felt like was a good, fair offer, so that's the direction we're going.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Alexander or Janet on that? Seeing none, can I have your votes, please?
Doris,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Next up, administrator's report. We'll start with character counts and house system.
Well, thank you very much for letting us come tonight. We were gonna bring about 15 children, but when Danielle told me it had moved over here, we decided to do a little slide program for you. Video second, okay, slide program first. A little slide program and a little video for you with some of our children. Now, keep in mind, this wasn't put together by the Bean class at the high school, okay? So, you know, it's on an iPad and a Samsung telephone. But as, and I've invited Ryan Stevens, who is kind of our chair on our House Committee, and Pam Hill, our counselor. So just wanted to give you a little bit of information about what we do. When you walk into Paddock Lane, there's a rug that sets at the front. It basically says, it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what you look like, and it doesn't matter who you are. When you come inside Paddock Lane, you're a member of our Paddock Lane community. We want you to feel accepted, and we want you to practice kindness, seek understanding, and remember that we are all a community together, which I think fits great with one school, one family, which is what our Beatrice whole school system is. So the Character Counts program and the House program at Paddock Lane work very well together. They work hand in hand because they share the responsibilities as being citizens of our school and citizens of our community. Student support and recognition are constant with these programs, and all staff members participate in identifying our students. And when I say all staff members, I really do mean all staff members. Mr. Neese nominates, and Mr. Neese gives points, and every parent in the building nominates kids for character counts and gives points to kids. So it's all of us together. What you are seeing now are activities that are done by the children at Paddock Lane and awards that are given all through the year. Ms. Hill's Character Counts program includes what we call a spotted activity, and she's going to explain how that works for us. While you are watching these slides, you will see our students enjoying house activities, being recognized for earning house points, and being honored as citizens of good character. And after this, we have a little video that shows the 8 houses, representatives from the 8 houses, and what they like about being in a house and the activities that we do. So Pam, do you want to go first?
Okay. We started an activity called Spotted Doing, and it was a way to try to get our whole school involved in the Character Counts pillars, and just not the kids, but the staff also. So what happens in each classroom, I have a Spotted Doing container and a nomination form, and when we have our months, we designate a pillar, and if any staff member, any student sees another student showing that pillar in their behavior, Then they go to the classroom, fill out a form, put it in the container. At the end of the month, I pick up the containers, randomly pick one student to do the activity with us. And like you saw, it might be decorating cookies, cupcakes, whatever. They get a certificate for being honored that month. But also, and this will hook in with the house, for every student, no matter if they get picked to do the activity or if they are just in the bowl, they get a house point. So we're trying to hook everything together.
Thank you. Ryan heads up, he's kind of our team leader for our house. He and I went to Atlanta, Georgia together and had a great time and came back and COVID broke out. First case, in case you didn't know, the first case in the United States was, guess where? Atlanta, Georgia. But we all had a great time and nobody got sick. So, Ryan?
Yeah, so one thing we brought back was the house activity.
You could hold it right there for just a second if you like to. Perfect, perfect.
We're the houses that allowed us to do a lot of activities at school. We do this K through 5. We started off doing once a week our first year. Kind of realized that was a little too much. We were a little enthusiastic. But we dropped it back to once a month. That seems to work a whole lot better. Less interruptions as far as the education goes of our students. We've seen improvement in engagement. The kids love engaging now because they want to earn points for their houses. So that's great to hear and great to see. They can earn points through a variety of things. Picking up trash, improvement on test scores, and right now is happening at Stoddard, okay, same thing at Paddock. So we've seen huge jumps in test scores already. So if they improve on their tests, they get points as well. That goes for their weekly spelling tests, selection tests for reading, all that good stuff. Classroom and school competitions, as you might have seen through the pictures and you'll see in the video here shortly, we do fun competitions this year. We did Easter egg hunt, which was last week. We've done St. Patrick's Day one. We did a Halloween hunt at the beginning of the school year where the kids get to run around the school and run outside. So it's good time, and it's fun because you get to see the kids get into it, but the inner child and the adult comes out too. So it really is a fun time. I'm guilty of saying I've run down the hallways a few times during these competitions. So it's fun.
A great thing to see is Mrs. McConnell. We're sorry we're losing her. She's moving to another school next year. But she might be the most competitive person I have ever seen. And literally, she like knocked little kids out of the way to get first. She didn't really. But you should have seen her weave around the little kids to be the first one so the Bears would win the St. Patrick's Day. They won the St. Patrick's Day competition.
No wonder you need all those nurses.
It's a wild and crazy. But actually, when we did our last one of our moms who picks up a young man who comes to Paddock Lane because of the programs that are there, great family. But she picks up her little guy at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. He leaves at 1:30 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. But he stays till 2 o'clock on Wednesday because that's house day. And so she got there a little early this week, or last week, we're doing the Easter egg trivia, and she was sitting, waiting at the front, and she just thought it was the greatest thing in the world to see 390-some kids and 80 teachers running all around the building trying to solve these trivia things, and she thought it was great. So it's a little bit of a madhouse, but it is so much fun, and teachers get to work with kids they don't ordinarily, that aren't their students in their classroom, so the teachers of the upper grades get to meet a lot of the little kids, and the teachers in the lower grades get to follow up with a lot of the bigger kids. So.
Which is nice for me. With me teaching 4th grade, it allows me to meet the younger kids to see who I'm going to have in the next couple of years. So already developing that relationship with the kids that I can see now as, in the primary, helps me build those relationships, which I like.
I was gonna say, it's also fun to see the older kids help the younger kids when we do the activities too.
Yeah, the
So you get a lot
interactions are
of
really
interactions
good.
there.
It is kind of tough for Ryan and I though, because, Pam's a Dolphin, I think.
Yes.
And the Dolphins seem to do better than the Wolves. We started the whole program and we're in the last.
Every year.
And
we finished 7th one year.
that was true, that was true. But we do wear our shirts on Wednesday.
Who's in the lead?
I know, the Dolphins.
Yep.
The Dolphins are in the lead. We're gonna try harder every year. We say we'll try harder, so.
But there are other things that we use for the house. I don't know, did you get the wheel that I sent you today?
Yep.
So,
Tell me about the two little guys, what they got, what
Yeah.
their pictures. Okay.
So I created this wheel. It's similar to what they use at RCA in Atlanta. Had to modify it a little bit here. You don't get to see it in action just because of there's other stuff that has to go into it. So the colors just represent the different houses. There's nothing special about that. But a kid, if they have, we use Class Dojo, it's a behavioral management system. If they get 25 points, they can cash it in for a variety of prizes. Some of them like to trade it in to spin the wheel. So they spin the wheel and it goes around on that first outside circle. Whatever that lands on, they get the points for themselves, but they also earn the points for their house. Some you see that have a number with an arrow going down. If they land on that, they can either A, choose to take the points that they got, or B, risk those points to go to the white circle. So, and you can see they can go down to the middle section as well. So, last year, the group that we had, they loved risking their points. They would risk it, and if they got 0, they're like, well, whatever. This year, the kiddos, they're very more cognizant. They're worried they don't want to lose points because this year's been pretty intense as far as first, second, and third. They've been really close, so they don't like risking their points. So that's been great. Monthly winners, if you don't mind going back to that picture that you had up, thank you. We started this a little late this year, but it's been amazing. These two gentlemen here, that was March, wasn't it?
That was just, yeah.
So these two gentlemen are our March winners for the most points in the month of March. We have Riker Lang, who won it for kindergarten to second, so the primary, and then Jason Murdoch won the 3 to 5. So they get, as you can see, a basketball. It's a Orangeman Lady O basketball. And on the table to the left, they have other things that includes a t-shirt that were donated by Coach Weeks. We have chamber bucks, and then a certificate, as you can see, that Mrs. Harris had made and designed with the help of Mrs. Repligal. And then the vending machine you see behind them, with the help of the foundation, they helped us a lot. They get a coin to pick a book from the vending machine. So that's been a lot of a driving force for these kiddos to win and receive these amazing prizes. So it's been awesome.
It's a lot of fun. We greatly enjoy it. As just quickly, a couple other pictures. Some of the pictures that you saw, just click. Can you do that? Good. Like these are pictures of our kids in the houses. All of these pictures here. Also, you saw children in front of show kindness or spread kindness, like confetti board. Those are children who are winning, are like that, for example. That's our primary character counts kiddos from 1 month, and they all get that certificate. And they're the group of kids that do an activity. Then Pam and I do an activity with them, like we decorate cookies, we just whatever. There's just all sorts of fun things that they get to do with us. And we've gotten so big that we have to take 2 sections. We used to just do, K through 5 together, but it's easier now to split them up. So that's just more of our kids that are monthly winners. That's me helping them decorate cookies. It is a great program, and I know you don't know all the kids there, but everybody gets a chance to be in those programs. All of our kids participate. Our little kids in our alternate curriculum program, they get selected for character counts too, so.
Because we have 22 classrooms involved with that.
So we have 22 kids represented. These are just activities, house activities that we do, games, competitions. So that's kind of house and character count. So if you'd like to show them just a little video the kids made.
Okay, that's gonna be loud.
We are the students of Paddock Lane and we represent the 8 houses.
Hi, my name is Giselle and I am a member of the Owls House and I'm in 3rd grade.
Hi, my name is Luke. I'm in the house and I'm in 2nd grade.
Hi, my name is Neely and I'm in the Tiger's House and I'm in 4th grade.
Hi, I'm Leah. Sam, and I'm in the Wolf House, and I'm in 5th grade. And as you can see, I don't have my shirt on. My name is Noelle, and I'm in 2nd grade, and I represent the House of Dolphins.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm in 5th grade and I represent the House of Bears.
Hi, I'm Brady. I'm in 4th grade, and I represent the House of Animals. I'm Jace, and I represent the Elephant House, and I'm in 2nd grade. My favorite activity this year was the paper snowball fight. Yeah, that was really fun. But I almost got a few from it.
My favorite part was the Halloween Great Race because we got to normally don't get to do that.
That was fun. Wasn't here. My favorite part was the Easter egg hunt challenge because there were lots of trivia questions. We got last.
Well, we at least got candy.
So, my favorite was the St. Patrick's Day one because we got a platform, cookies. Oh, sugar is the best! We still got last, but whatever, big shocker.
My favorite one was the glow in the dark bowling. I don't think I did that.
We do it in fourth grade.
My favorite one was the Easter egg hunt one because we gotta find eggs.
My favorite wasn't here. My favorite was probably like the trivia questions because they were different, like the St. Patrick's one and like the Easter one. Those are the hard. You were actually here for those. But like for them to be hard, it makes me think better. So I feel like that's really fun. I like connecting with teachers and kids. Period. Bye.
So, like I said, we're not the bean class, we're just little kids, but they had a great time. It only took 15 takes or something. But they had a good time. Does anybody have any questions? I should say, all of us wear shirts on Wednesday. The young man who said, and I forgot to wear my shirt, guess what house he belongs to? Ours. He's a wolf. He's a wolf. But 8 businesses in the community paid for our shirts a couple years ago, so it's really great, and so we only have to purchase the new ones for the kindergarten, so it's been pretty great. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
very much.
All right, next up, superintendent report, Mr. Alexander.
Okay, just 3 quick updates for you. First of all, as Riley mentioned, the countdown is officially on, and that goes for everybody, but for our seniors, graduation is set for May 21st at 3 o'clock, so board members, we just ask you to be there. Meet by the Ox Gym no later than 2:45, so we make sure we have everybody in the right spot. So Riley, we wish you the best of luck as that approaches.
Thank you.
Staffing update, as you saw in the consent agenda, we have many people who are changing either careers, moving, going to a different school, possibly seeking a fresh start, and also maybe starting a new chapter in life and retiring. So our administrative team has been focused on filling a tremendous amount of vacancies, and I don't know if these are completely accurate, because I think as of today, we might have even had some that were filled, but we have filled, I think, 12 of 18 openings as of the last report I'm aware of. And in all honesty, I want you to know there are 4 positions, quite frankly, that I don't know that will get filled. There are 0 applicants for, and we're past the April 15th cutoff deadline, where schools are not going to let teachers out of contracts, most likely. So those 4 positions, we are going to have to become fairly creative on how we fill those. We're hoping that we can get some cooperation from staff members. Sometimes we have a little bit of luck, and as Beth knows, in the middle of summer, we have someone move in that can, for whatever reason, we just get lucky and they have the right endorsement to fill that position, so we're hoping for those things, but just want you to know that there are 4 positions, and we're not the only ones in the state that are facing this. This is not just a Beatrice problem. In the bills you saw, there's teacher shortages across the state, so, and primarily in some pretty specific areas, math being one. I know a district very close to us has had a math opening since February and have had 0 applicants. So, you know, as we have a math opening, that will be a tough one to fill, but
What's the other 3?
we have math, 2 special
English language
education, and English language arts.
Yep.
So those are the 4 that,
That we have no applicants for.
right. So, hopefully also along the lines that could happen is the Department of Education will come out with some regulation easements that would allow us to work with teachers that have maybe different certifications and allow us to shift them into spots, but we're not aware of that right now. The Department of Education, as you know, just did hire a new commissioner, Dr. Brian Maher, who will be in charge of making a lot of those decisions and recommendations to the Department of Education, which could come down the pipe as early as July or August, and hopefully that'll help us in that regard. But so we hold out hope, but just want you to be aware of that. In terms of building update, just very quickly, the facing brick is going up on the gym box as we speak. If you've driven by, you've seen that. This is the brick color that will go on the outside. So this dark colored brick will be a little bit recessed, and that's kind of the aesthetic setting that will offset as it goes up. You'll start to see that going on, I'm sure. If it hasn't today already, I know they were starting last week on, so they gave me some samples. So that's taking place. They're moving very quickly. Everybody's very motivated because it seems like they have a lot of work lined up. So that's a good thing. The footings are all poured for the entire building, and the elevator shaft is being erected. So if you drive by on 33rd Street, headed north or coming from north to south, and you look over and you see this brick concrete structure in the middle of looks like it's just in the middle of nowhere going up, that's the elevator shaft for 1st to 2nd floor, so that's taking place. And then almost all the steel will be ready to be placed in the next 4 to 6 weeks, which means once that steel is in place, things will start to happen even more quickly than they are right now. So the steel is all on site, which is terrific. We're not gonna experience any delays from that standpoint. And I'm feel, you know, kudos to Houseman and BCDM for making sure that all the drawings and everything are coming out quick enough to make sure we don't face any delays. So the only issue has been Mother Nature, and if any of you can get that under control and help us that way, it's been good the last couple of days, and I know we need rain as well, so.
Would you say we're still on pace with everything?
I would say we're probably about 3 weeks behind right now, but the hope is that the steel contractor is very motivated because he's gotta be doing another job by the end of May, so that's why they're very confident that they think that'll go quickly.
Okay, any questions? Thank you. Next up, executive session for the protection of public interests for negotiations regarding real estate for a strategy session regarding contract negotiations and to discuss advice protected by the attorney-client relationship. Do I have a motion to move into executive session?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 move into executive session for the protection of the public interest for negotiations regarding real estate, for a strategy session regarding contract negotiations, and to discuss advice protected by the attorney-client attorney-client relationship.
Thank you, Doris. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Janet. All right, roll call vote.
Lisa,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Janet, Doris.
Yes.
All right, motion passes, and we will move into exec session at 7:49 PM.
And I would just ask if it's okay if Jackie and Danielle both remain